Welcome back to the Exodus Pro Wrestling Takeover on the Hitting the Turnbuckle podcast. Now, you will notice, for those of you that are watching on YouTube, that Fiona is not available this evening, so she won't be joining us for this particular show. But this coming Saturday, as you would already know, Exodus Pro Wrestling will be watching the throne this coming Saturday. And my guest at this time, I'm already in his bad books by misspelling his name on social media, so apologies for that already. But of course, he will be there Saturday, as will Cristiano, who's going to be going against our guest from yesterday, Cowpoke Paul. It is, of course, Gaston LaRue. Welcome to the show.
'Tis I, the Bard of Exo Pro, and your Mozart of professional wrestling, Gaston LaRue, and you are graced by my wonderful presence today. So you're welcome for having me.
I was going to thank you for coming on. So, yes, I am welcome for having you on, Gaston. Very well. You are very welcome on this show, of course. But look, let's get right down to it. This coming Saturday, another Exodus Pro show. Exodus Pro. We've had a lot of people on from Exodus, Pretty Boy Smooth, Brandon Beretta. They've all basically said Exodus Pro is the top territory out of the NWA's territory list at the moment. Is that a word or a theme that you would agree with as well?
Oh yeah. Exodus is absolutely the top territory. I mean, there's a reason that we're the territory that is on NWA's YouTube page almost every single show. There's a reason that we have the best talent. There's a reason we have EC3, former NWA World Heavyweight Champion, on the show. There's a reason that Cristiano Argento, my true Caesar of Exodus Pro. There's a reason why he is on the show. There's a reason why we are as popular as we are in general, because we have the best talents. We have the Slime Balls, who were originally Exodus guys that got signed. We have Carson Drake, originally an Exodus guy who got signed. We have PB Smooth, who's on there on a regular basis, teaming with EC3 now. They're inevitably going to win the tag team titles at NWA 77. So, there is just it's just obvious and plain as day that we are the top territory.
It does seem that way when you look, and you've mentioned near enough every name there. Tiffany Neves, another one that's been around, and she's going to be there Saturday as well, the champion.
I sang a
Champion.
beautiful song for her last year. It was wonderful. Beautiful celebration for her. It was great.
Maybe she needed you on NWA because you're obviously champion over in the NWA as
I,
well.
I would love to sing a song for her over there as well. That'd be great.
It would be, but you've mentioned that though, and we've just gone into all of those top names there, all Exodus Pro Wrestling. Is it the hotbed now? You mentioned it is the top territory, but the hotbed of
Mm,
talent. I mean, Brandon Bretta for me,
mm.
not I've seen him wrestle quite a few times. He's another standout. Obviously yourselves and you've mentioned there Cristiano
Oh, of course.
Argento as well. Cristiano Argento as well. But it does seem to be the hotbed of talent out of the territories that we're seeing the majority coming through onto NWA. So it kind of proves your point, I take that.
Oh yeah. I mean, like, we're even trickling down into some of the territories and taking over. Carson Drake just won the NWA JCP Heavyweight Championship. Brandon Beretta has wrestled over in WLW multiple times, and he's currently big in OVW. Carson Drake is also the WLW NWA champion. And I believe the Slime Balls wrestle at Crossfire frequently. So yeah, we're trickling down. We're taking over all the territories because we're the best. I mean, like, obviously they don't have enough talent. They have to come to us. You know what I mean? So,
Yeah, it is. It is to see you guys out there is incredible. Just talk about obviously the territories, but look, we've got a goal now. So obviously, what NWA have done so well is they kind of brought back that territory. I mean, I grew up mid 80s, 90s, so it was just before obviously Vince brought the WWF at the time, and then that kind of went away. The NWA
mhm.
have brought it back recently, and it's really in a lot of ways, and we've already mentioned it about how the talent have come through. But do you see yourself now as in you've actually got there isn't that ceiling? Sometimes in wrestling there is that ceiling, you just can't
Mhm.
get it. You've now got that ceiling and you've got beyond the ceiling, which would be becoming
Mhm.
on NWA. And that's one of the great things that NWA have done with bringing back the territory. So the likes of you guys have that ceiling to go for.
Mhm. Yeah, I think it's a great opportunity for, forgive me, my dog is being loud. I have
Right.
protective dogs, of course,
Of course.
because you need it when you're this popular. Um, but the fact of the matter is that we it presents a lot of great opportunity, right? Because we get to wrestle with the guys who are on TV all the time, and then as I named, like a number of us are getting more opportunities than ever to showcase ourselves to NWA management and to the powers that be, whether it be Billy Corgan or whether it be Joe Kazana, who is I think is the president of the territories,
Yes.
um, or whether it be Aaron Stevens, the territorial liaison, or whatever. It presents a lot of opportunities for us, and so it allows me to go and perform, whether I'm singing a beautiful melodic song every time I step out, or whether I am in the ring being active on behalf of my Caesar. It gives us the chance to prove ourselves more than ever, and then like you said, break through that ceiling, get on NWA Power, become television champion like Carson Drake just was, or become the tag team champions, or whatever the case may be. So yeah, definitely is a big thing for anyone coming through NWA, and whether they're in the territory system or power or whatever it may be. And it presents a lot of opportunities in general for us to travel to different states and make a lot of money. And I love money. So that's great. It's great.
You mentioned Aaron there. I have this like I could picture you with Aaron Stevens on Power.
I Aaron Stevens is a big inspiration of mine for sure, admittedly. I like the velvet look,
Mhm.
obviously. I wear the
Yeah.
velvet pants. And so I respect him having all the velvet. So like that's like a dream pairing for me. Maybe we ought to get me and Cristiano and Aaron Stevens all together. That'd be great.
It would be. I think it would be a great match for NWA. Look,
Yeah.
look, Crockett Cup's just done, but next year, because it's going to happen again, there we
Yeah.
go. There's the team.
Oh, there we go.
Or
Yeah.
or if Aaron decides to have another mint julep match down the line, which is, well, I think we're still having therapy for some of us from that. It was an incredible match for sure. And but look, this coming Saturday, you've mentioned there, we did have Cowpot Paul on the other yesterday on the show,
Mm,
and he made it perfectly clear that he's coming on Saturday to win the win his match against your Caesar, obviously
mm,
Cristiano Argento. But look, going into this match, this is going to be a big one for both. And look, you're going to have title aspirations in mind, aren't you? And if Cristiano wins this one, he's going to want to go and face the best of the brand. So big
mm.
importance going into this on Saturday.
Yeah, I won't speak for my Caesar, but when you're in Exodus Pro, of course you're gonna have eyes on that NWA Midwest
Mhm.
Championship. And there is a Watch the Throne match later on in the night.
Yeah.
So, you never know. Maybe he'll have eyes on that. And a victory is always a great thing. And we also have our sights set on getting back that crown after that thief cowboy stole it from us. Um, and Cowpoke, he's a good, talented guy, right? He's good. But have you seen how jacked my Caesar has been getting?
Yeah.
Have you seen how big he is? Have you seen his lats? Have you seen his lats? They're crazy. They're crazy. So, Cowpoke can try his hardest, and he can try and wrangle us or lasso Cristiano Argento in. But the fact of the matter is he is the smarter competitor at the end of the day, and my Caesar is going to be victorious, and he will get gold. Maybe we will get gold, but I'm not going to reveal anything. I'm not going to reveal anything.
No, don't, obviously never give anything away. Magicians never give away their secrets, right?
That's
That's
right.
the point
That's
now.
right.
But you are right. There is a Watch the Throne match later on, and more importantly than that, there is a last chance qualifier which is going to happen. Now that could be something during that evening. Who knows?
You never know. You never know.
The
Maybe
beauty.
my Caesar, maybe my Caesar will work twice. Maybe I'll wrestle on behalf of my Caesar. You never know what we have up our sleeves. You never know. You never
That's
know.
the best way to keep it. But it's also another reason to get down there onto to the Tree Lawn Music Hall on Saturday to see that happening,
That's right.
which is going to be a great show. We'll break away from Exodus a little bit right now. I want to learn a bit more about you, Gaston, and what, when did you start training in wrestling? How did it all come about? And was this was it growing up one of those things, I want to be a wrestler, or did it happen later on down the line?
It was definitely an aspiration of mine growing up. And as a young man raised in Shreveport, Louisiana, by way of Paris, France, and I was of course educated in France because the American school system is absolutely abhorrent. But as a young man raising up, I thought it was a possibility, and then whenever the possibility presented itself, I took it, and I took it at the ripe age of 17 years old. So my 6 year anniversary was actually last week. Um, and I've I've gone through a lot of evolution as a wrestler over that time, but like my best time has definitely been since I've been under the NWA Exodus Pro banner for sure. And I've just like really grown, and having Cristiano Argento at my side, of course, has been absolutely wonderful. But yeah, so yeah, my journey began about 6 years ago, and it's just swept since then.
Quite interesting because you're still very young as well
Hmm.
as a wrestler. So you've been in it 6 years, and 6 years, look, there's lots can happen in 6 years, and you kind of like you've gone
Yeah,
through that kind of phase where you're not the young guy, you're not the same younger, but you're not the new guy anymore.
right.
You've been around a while, and some even say 6 years is veteran-esque, but you're very
Mm.
young to be called a veteran. But do you see yourself in that sort of position where you could perhaps help the others come through? And you don't take away anything from your Cesar, and you don't want to give
Mm.
too much away, but would you be that something that you would be looking at the talent and thinking I could maybe pick you and take you over here and help you come into our group, so to speak?
Mm. Yeah, I think that is an interesting thought. I do have an eye for talent, I feel like. And so, we need more servants of Cristiano Argento. So, of course, we would be looking to bring people into a group. But as far as I'm concerned, unless it is in service to my Caesar, I am a very selfish person, to be completely honest. And even though I've been doing it for 6 years, I'm still very much at a point where I'm seeking my own personal aspirations. At Exodus, we all do work as a team.
Mhm.
We all do work together, but at the end of the day, I am a professional wrestler and I am seeking my own success. And I do want to make money at all of this. And I do want, to be the best, completely. So I'm working all the time, still focusing on myself. But it is a goal of mine down the road to um, even open a training school of mine because I feel like I understand that. I mean, I make music within the professional wrestling ring, and understand, and like I study professional wrestling
Mm.
constantly. And part of the Mozart of professional wrestling is that I find the rhythmic beats within the professional wrestling, and that is what I am composing is my perfect symphony, and so that's definitely something that I want to pass on to others, so that my art will live on forever as well. So, yeah, absolutely. I'm a selfish man, but definitely want to help others at in the future for sure, and obviously want to help the ship that is Exodus Pro as a whole.
Does it help when because you are at Exodus Pro and you've mentioned the likes of EC3, Aaron Stevens, and other, but you've got, I mean, EC3, we've had him on the show a couple of times, and
Mm,
when it's kind of like one of those things where you just sit there and just let him talk because you
mm,
want to hear him. He's got that mind, and you've got Aaron Stevens, I know that comes down a lot. That's just another great mind of the business. Is it important though for everyone at Exodus, no matter whether you're at 6 years, 6 months, 20-year veteran coming back to wrestling, that you listen and you take everything in that EC3
mm.
and Aaron or anyone that's even coming from an NWA perspective when they bring it down there for you guys just to listen and take it all in?
That's absolutely a big thing, especially for me, um, because I started with Exodus and I met EC3 about a year and a half ago at this point.
Hmm.
And, the evolution that I took on um, into becoming the Mozart of professional wrestling was as a result of him and Aaron Stevens completely. The Velvet Tights you see was very much an Aaron Stevens suggestion. Um, and a lot of the way I carry myself now was them because, like, who I was before the Mozart of professional wrestling wasn't too far off of what I am now, but I was in a box. I had put myself into a bit of a box, and they helped me find my way out of that box. And so, learning from them is very valuable to me. Every show, every chance I get, I'm asking EC3 for feedback and advice and what I can learn from, even though he doesn't really appreciate my music and that I sing, but whatever. Um, he thinks I'm obnoxious or something. I don't know why he would think that. But in all seriousness, I really do value their opinions, and I think that it is very important for many people. And I think that if you don't value those opinions, that there's a problem with you, and you're not actually looking for success.
Hmm.
You're not actually looking to grow in any way. Um, and I think that that is definitely like a big issue that some people have. But I think that for those in the locker room itself, that they all value those opinions very much so, and very much value the advice that EC3 and Aaron Stevens will give.
Yeah, definitely so.
Absolutely.
And if anyone, and even if you're a wrestler over here in the UK and you go to a show and there's somebody there that's been around for so
Yeah.
long, always, we've had that before, luckily, and we've
Yeah.
been fortunate enough where we have to have had ex WWE sort of NXT talent come in, and it's important for the boys there to and the girls
Yeah.
to get that advice in them. Switching
Yeah.
gears a little bit, we'll come back to
I,
Exodus
I
near
do want
the
to say one thing.
end.
EC3 is like such a fountain of knowledge,
Hmm.
and like the way that he thinks about things is so outside of the box and so great. And like, I know that some people may look at that and think it's weird, but it's fantastic because that's the way that I think. And so like just being able to listen to that is perfect and it's wonderful. So if anyone ever has the chance to take a seminar or anything of his, you absolutely should because he'll explain things to you in a way that no one else will.
Yeah, I think
Yeah.
that's it, man. Because he's done some seminars over here in the UK, and I've
Mm,
not been fortunate enough to attend one. I'm trying to, but
mm,
he is a unique character, isn't he? And he's
mm.
he's going through even he's going through a new phase even in the NWA at the minute. But you made that
Yeah.
point of thinking outside the box, and that's just such a different thing. It is coming up with that something different that's going to get you noticed, just something that perhaps maybe it's been staring you in the face and you don't know it. And it takes someone
Mm,
like EC3 he's got the great philosophy about wrestling, but he's also got that sort of to give you that bit of that outside of the box, something a little bit different. It could change not only your character in
yeah.
Exodus Pro, but could change your life as a wrestler.
Yeah. Very much so. Very much so.
And that is
Yeah.
the importance of EC3, everybody, in wrestling. And that's for sure. But we'll come back to NWA and Exodus Pro in a second. But I always like to break away and I always like to, get to a bit more about you in terms of a wrestling thing. So there's some wrestling questions that I'll ask you. They are random.
Mm,
They are random. So there'll be
okay.
ones that may be expecting, maybe the ones that you may not be expecting. But first one is obviously I know that you play you play music and you sing and everything like that. But if you could have an artist sing you out at a show,
Ooh.
who would you have coming to who playing you out? As it's now such a big thing in wrestling nowadays.
Hmm. That's an interesting question. Um, hmm. That's interesting. Um, my first answer is like some sort of symphony or orchestra is the first thing that comes
Mhm.
to my mind. I don't uh I don't have like a specific one in my mind, but like some sort of symphony or orchestra, like maybe like a just like some kind of local place that like would do like a lot of Mozart, obviously,
Yeah.
or some Bach or something like that. And then my other answer would be Chapel Roan because she's great. So
Yeah, that's
she's incredible.
two good answers there. What about this one? if you're going to be in a film, what is the genre first of the film?
Genre. Mm, probably, to be completely honest, probably like some sort of like historical fiction film, like an Oppenheimer or
Yeah.
something. Yeah,
And who
yeah,
plays you?
absolutely.
Who plays you?
Who plays?
Yeah.
Mm, I'm gonna say Tom Holland because he's a very handsome individual, and you know I don't know if you know this, and I hate to admit this, but I'm not very tall. So Tom Holland probably fits the bill.
How tall is not very tall?
I am 5'8".
That's my height. So we're fine. We're, we're tall. We're tall, right?
Okay, we're good. We're good.
5'8's great. I'll come back to some more questions in a minute. I want to turn our attentions to NWA now. Obviously, this is a big year for the NWA. We'll touch on 77 in a minute because that's something that's coming up next weekend.
Mm,
But before that, they've got a new deal. It's streaming on Roku. Now, in the UK, full disclosure, we can't watch it unless we've got a VPN. Now, luckily for me, I have a VPN and I can watch
Smart
Roku.
man.
And I got it every
Smart
week.
man.
We still review it every week. But just talk about the importance of that a minute because it is all about streaming nowadays. You look at this, Netflix has got it, ESPN are doing stuff, it's Max and everything else. How
Yeah.
important is that deal for the future of the NWA?
I think it's very important for the future of the NWA because like Roku, at least here in America and I believe in Canada as
Yeah.
well, is so prominent. I mean, I have a Roku TV sitting behind me. So it's very important because the more well, obviously we were on X before, and then we were on CW for a little
Yeah.
while as well. But like I feel like Roku is the first platform in a while that we've had that like will really push it out there to a
Yeah.
wider audience. Like you would kind of think that X would be that way, but like not everyone uses social media,
No.
but like, even mother and father LaRue have a Roku TV. So, I think that like it'll diversify the ages that watch the program. And, especially like older folk who may have Roku will even watch, be like, oh, NWA back in my day, I used to watch NWA all the time. So I think that is a great benefit of it, but also it benefits the wrestlers in so many ways because the more views you get, the more money the company gets, the more
Mhm.
money that you can get, and the more exposure that you can get as well. And I think that, Roku will be a great platform for um, people who have been on who are, well, maybe like from Exodus going to NWA for the first time, like PB Smooth, who
Mhm.
recently has started being on NWA, or Brandon Beretta, who I believe has a few times,
Yeah.
um, and just people like that, like they get even more exposure by being on Roku because everyone hears Roku and knows Roku at this point, and can just flip on their TV and be like, "Oh, there we go." And so I think that is so important, and I hope that the platform or platforms keep getting bigger and bigger and bigger for NWA because obviously that's my goal as well, is to be on Power and be getting that exposure as well, which can lead to, in so many ways, more money, more contracts, more, this or that, more exposure, more attention, more podcast interviews, more what this and that, more mainstream, appearances. Like, maybe someone sees you on NWA and is like, oh, I want them in my movie. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, there's so much more opportunity there in this world. So Roku is definitely like a big thing. I wish that you UK folk could also see it, and see the music that the NWA makes. But I'm sure that there will be things that are put into place so that that is easier for you guys as well. And being on a platform like Roku allows opportunities for that because people can see like networks or whatever may want to see that, and then they'd be like, okay, well, I want this in my UK demographic, or I want this in my India demographic, or whatever the case may be. So yeah.
Yeah, definitely. You actually made a really interesting point there, and I've never thought of that point because you mentioned there about how some of the older folk that may have watched
Mhm.
NWA back in the day before, Billy bought it and purchased it, and obviously
Yeah.
not social media savvy, but will have a
Right.
TV that's got
Right.
a Roku. They know
Yeah.
the NWA is synonymous with wrestling. It's about to hit its 77th year, which we'll get into. That
Right.
is quite an interesting thought, and I've actually never thought of that. But that could open up a region demographic, really, of something that may
Yeah.
people that may have been a demographic of a, I don't know, an 18 to 35 or whatever, but now is this something on the other side of it. We'll see that and go, I remember that brand. Boom,
Yeah.
put it on, and they're going to be like, wow, this is amazing, so to speak.
Yeah.
It's
Absolutely.
an
Yeah.
incredible moment. But 77, this is the big one next weekend.
Yeah.
NW 77. We've touched on EC3, Pretty Boy Smooth. Tag team gold await. Could await them. They're only, I mean, they've got quite a stiff test in Knox
Mm.
and Murdoch. But if
Yeah.
anyone's capable of beating them, and we love Pretty Boy Smooth over here on this channel, he's a good friend of the show.
Nice.
If anyone's going to beat Knox and Murdoch, it's going to be EC3 and Smooth, right?
Yeah. I think so. I mean, like, they haven't been teaming super long,
No.
but just like, knowing their history and the tutelage and the mentorship that's there, and the bond that's there in general, and then just seeing that on the Power program as well, and then just like the sheer size of them and the intelligence of them, I think that there's no question in my mind that they're the ones who are going to take it off Knox and Murdoch easily, bring those belts back to Exodus Pro, and defend the titles against me and Argento because that should happen. Um,
That's exactly
and
where I was going with it, actually. But yeah.
but and I that's what me and anyone at Exodus should be rooting for, is for that to happen, so that we have that opportunity um to challenge for the world tag titles, because obviously Murdoch rolled up to Exodus once, but 3 and PB are there every single month. They win the tag belts, bring them back. Argento and I could challenge. Slime Balls could challenge. The TME could challenge. Like, anyone could challenge for those world tag titles. And if you win them on an Exodus show, then you're on Power the next month. You know what I like? I'm just
Yeah.
saying. I'm just
Gives you
saying. So,
gives
you
you that
know,
rocket, gives you that little dangle, that little carrot in front of you, right?
Yeah, absolutely. So if anyone can take them down, it's those guys for sure. It's
Yeah.
definitely them.
And the last question on the NWA before we start to go back to Watch the Throne. Last time at the Crockett Cup, which we're just seeing right now on Roku, you had the likes of Natalia Neidhart show up on Natty. You had the likes of Hammerstone, who's going to be at 77 as well. Does that
Mm,
also show you, obviously, that other companies are taking over? Because WWE don't just let their talent, Natty's done a lot of things now, but she's been a part of the NWA. Hammerstone,
mm,
is still a free agent, I believe. The fact that they want to come to the NWA, and the fact that they was
mm.
allowed to come to the NWA, shows what they're actually doing, and they must be doing something right. Otherwise, the company wouldn't allow them to do it. Bring those stars on.
Right. Yeah, no, I totally agree, and I think that opens up more opportunities in itself, and we've seen that with the TNA and WWE crossover, and the opportunities that has presented for TNA talent to be on WWE, WWE talent to be on
Yeah,
TNA, vice versa. We've seen that with Game Changer Wrestling and how Natalia's been there. We've seen it quite a bit at this point. And so, AAA and WWE's
yeah,
relationship, WWE and Noah's relationship, whatever the case may be. And so, getting to be in a locker room with people like Natalia, who are on that scale and who have been working, not only are a veteran who has been doing it for so long, and has to, and you can like learn from, but also someone who has been on that global of a scale that we can learn from. I think that's so important, and it's also important, like, for the NWA, which is looking to constantly grow and grow and grow, and they can pick Natalia's brain on, how can we keep growing this bigger and bigger and bigger. So I think that it's great from such a business standpoint, but also great for all the wrestlers who get the chance to not only maybe work with Natalia or work with Hammerstone or whoever, but also get to just observe and listen, which is so important in this business. And as we've discussed, very important in this business to just listen.
Yeah, be the sponge, I think, as I used to call it.
Yeah.
Natty and Kenzie's match will be coming soon to Roku, and from
Mm,
what I hear, it's one for the ages, so one to watch out for when it's
mm.
on. Last question on 77 before we move on. Is it going to be Latimer or is Philbilly's destiny going to hit at 77, and will he walk away with the championship?
Um, that's interesting. I'm gonna go with Latimer. It's the safe bet. But I just think that, no one has dethroned Latimer to this point. And, in my mind, if Carson Drake couldn't do it, then Silas Mason isn't going to do it. Because, I mean, like, look at the success that Carson has. He has the briefcase at Exodus currently.
Mhm.
He's the JCP heavyweight champion. He's the WLW heavyweight champion. If he's not going to do it, I don't feel like Silas Mason is going to do it, because Carson just won the JCP belt off of
Yep.
Silas Mason. So that's my logic. Anything can happen in the world of professional wrestling. But as someone who has, been around Thomas Latimer, even last 2 weeks ago, I was at a show around Thomas Latimer. So I think that Thomas Latimer still has a long reign in him.
We'll find out. He's British, so we obviously, although I think Silas is going to win, I don't want him to say that. But if you want to bribe Latimer, get him Galaxy chocolate over here. Get it imported from the UK. That's a bribe. Watch the show. You'll know that he's a fan of it. But that's it. Definitely one for you. But yeah, Philbilly for me, Latimer for you. We'll see how that happens at 77 next weekend. Obviously, that'll be on a future episode of Power on Roku. Final random questions for me before we go back to Exodus Pro. This one always gets a few people. What's the if you had to put a playlist together, what would be your top three wrestling theme songs that you would put on there?
Oh, wrestling theme songs.
Mhm.
Let's see. Um, Definitely Real American.
Yeah,
Without a question. Um, and then it's gotta go. It's Real American. It's John Cena's theme, and it's Ric Flair's theme.
interesting, interesting. I've never heard Ric Flair's theme come out. No one's ever mentioned that yet.
What? How does no one? That's classic. Ric Flair is the greatest of all time. The
Yes.
greatest of all time. How anyone has not said Ric Flair is beyond me. Like, that's insane, but okay, whatever. People just have bad taste. But see, you're talking to a music guy, you're talking to the Mozart of professional wrestling. So you need to take my list as gospel and being, the correct list, because I'm correct and I'm very musically inclined and incredible and handsome and all that good stuff. So I'm obviously correct and better than everybody else.
There you
Um,
go.
so, and I would even pick Ric Flair's at number one. So,
There you go.
um,
Well, the Horseman song was good as well, right? That was a good
it
song.
is really good. It is really good.
It is. Right. Let's start wrapping this up. Saturday, Exodus Pro Wrestling. Watch the Throne. What are the fans going to be looking forward to should they be attending on Saturday? No word yet if it's on the NWA YouTube page, so we don't know if it's going to be live on that. But what are the fans in for that are turning up on Saturday night?
Um, well, they're in for great wrestling. They're in for just great personalities as a whole, which I think is something that Exodus encompasses beautifully. You're in store for some amazing wrestling when Cristiano Argento beats the crap out of Cowpoke Paul once and for all. You are in store for a crazy Watch the Throne match. And you are just in store for the best professional wrestling that the territories has to offer, that independent wrestling has to offer, and that professional wrestling in general has to offer, because beautiful music is going to be made within the professional wrestling ring without a doubt.
It will be indeed. Let me just run down the card quickly before we wrap up. So you've mentioned already Cristiano Argento. We'll get Cowpoke Paul. I keep saying cowboy. I'm just so used to that saying, but Cowpoke.
Well, it's a stupid name, so it doesn't really matter.
There you go. We have got, obviously, I think it's M. Bill J and the Ashton Day. We're going against VNDL 48 in a six-man tag, which will be a great one as well. The one that I'm looking forward to the most, apart from your man, obviously, apart from Cristiano, obviously,
Of
is
course.
LJ Cleary and Brandon Beretta. I think that's going to be an absolute fantastic match.
That will be absolutely incredible.
It
Yeah.
will be brilliant. LJ, fresh off his WWE tryout this weekend, he's also Irish, so he's also coming from this neck of the woods as well. So that's a brilliant, a great. That it will be a great match between those two. Pretty Boy Smooth as well in there against their Gannon Jones Jr. We also have another good friend of the show, our pastor CeeLo, will be in action against the man that I think is going to be winning the NWA World Heavyweight Championship in 2026, early 2026. My bet, Carson Drake. Tiffany Nieves will be defending her championship against Marty Bell in what will be another great showcase for the women.
That'll be great.
It
That'll be
will be.
amazing.
It really will be. And obviously you get the last chance saloon, a chance to the six pack challenge to get into another six pack challenge later on in the show. And there's going to be interesting though, because you're going to have one of those is it a preface or preface winner
Preface, yeah.
preface winner, sorry, from the like a
Hmm.
tryout winner from late
Yep,
earlier on in the day, which is a great way of introducing yourself into Exodus Pro. And of course,
absolutely.
the Watch the Throne match itself, which will have that winner. It will have the winner of the last chance qualifier. It will also be against the Slime Balls. We're going to be going down to Slime Ball City. They ain't pretty this Saturday. And Vincent Nothing as well will be in there. And Dante Casanova will be defending that Midwest Championship. And there's now a special guest referee. Of course, he had to be the referee for this. It is EC3. The action comes
Yeah.
this coming Saturday at the Tree Lawn Music Hall in Cleveland, Ohio. Gaston, as we wrap up, thank you so much. But as we wrap up, can you tell everyone where they can get hold of you on social media? If you are available for bookings, where can people find you? And what have you got coming up
Mm.
that you can announce?
Find me on Instagram at Gaston LaRue. Find me on X at Gaston LaRue. Uh, Friend me or follow me on Facebook at Gaston LaRue. And then what do I got coming up? Uh, this Friday, I am challenging for the Forever Pro Wrestling Junior Heavyweight Championship against a very talented individual named Avery Hertz. That is in Scottsburg, Indiana, but I'm gonna beat the crap out of Avery Hertz and win a junior heavyweight championship. Um, and then on top of that, let me pull out my schedule here. I'm a
Go
busy
for it.
man. I'm a very busy man. Let's see here. I will be taking a nice vacation for about a week, and then I will be at Bullpen Pro Wrestling in Louisville, Kentucky on August 23rd against a very talented man named Kevo Thrives. But we are challenging for the inaugural Conquest Championship, and I'm gonna win that too. Obviously, championship's coming my way, baby. Of course, NWA Exodus Pro this weekend. August 24th, I have Ring of Champions in Michigan, where myself and my tag team partner, Saturn Price, who is a fellow tragedy boy of mine, will be taking on my mentor, Eric Draven, and his tag team partner, Charlie Key, and what will be a beautiful tag team wrestling clinic. September, I have some stuff as well, but some things I may not be able to talk about or discuss yet. So, just keep your eyes peeled for me and various NWA avenues and independent avenues throughout the country, because I am a world traveler at heart, and I am the Mozart of professional wrestling, looking to make music anywhere that I go within the professional wrestling ring, both literally and mentally and physically and metaphorically. I make music every time that I speak and every time that I have a presence. So if you want to book me, you can email me, Gaston LaRue Wrestler at gmail.com, because who wouldn't want this multi talented individual on your show? I'm just saying. I'm just saying.
Exactly that. Make sure that you do book Gaston LaRue for your shows. On a bit of a serious note, before we wrap up, you would have seen it if you'd watched the video of Cowboy Poke Paul yesterday. the GoFundMe for Colby Carino. The link is going to be at the bottom of the YouTube page, going to be at the bottom of the Spotify page. Look, if you can't donate, we understand time's tough. If you can, fantastic, please do so to help Colby out. If you can't, can you please reshare the link on your social medias? Anything we can do to help Colby out, is going through a serious injury right now, still needs to provide for family. If you can do so, if you can donate, great. If not, please share it on your social medias. It will do him the world of good, and I'm sure he'll be forever grateful for that. Now,
Absolutely.
coming up on the Hitting the Turnbuckle podcast, I'll finish with this. We're going to be sitting down with the Machine, Brian Cage, tomorrow night, talking all things Forbidden Door as they're coming over here in the UK. We've also got our special show with Ignite Wrestling over here in the UK. Buckle up, free, bigger, badder, better. Our championship will be on the line. Luna will be wrestling Alexis Falcon. We've also got the spectacular twat, yes, that is the name, Charles Crowley. He'll be going against Tommy Kyle, and there's be plenty more to be announced in the next coming days. So go to 96 Eventbrite, type in Buckle Up Free, get your tickets, 65% already gone already. But Gaston, it's been fantastic talking to you. Good luck Saturday. I'm sure you won't need it, and good luck to your your Caesar Saturday. I'm sure he'll
Of
also
course.
won't need it. And we'll be back next week with actually Towel Boy, funnily enough, will be on next for Sins next week. But you've been watching the Exodus Pro Takeover and the Hitting the Turnbuckle podcast with the Mozart of professional wrestling, Gaston LaRue, with me, your host, Adam Cousins. And until next time, everybody, buckle down, stay safe, and goodbye.